إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه وبركاته عليه يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله جل في العلا وأحسن هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. Allah Ta'ala has given us everything we needed. Everything we need to survive through these tough times that we're in today. Trying times in which all of us need to relieve pressure off of every single one of us as much as possible. We are lonely, no doubt, in a world that can be very cruel and harsh and cold and callous. And that's the times that we're in. Nobody has any consideration for life anymore. There isn't any. There isn't any consideration for anyone. There isn't any respect for any human being, regardless of their race, nationality, color, background, or what have you. Allah Ta'ala has said this in His book. He has sent down instructions. As Allah created the human beings, and He did not leave them with proper guidance. Rather, He gave them strict instructions that if they followed and cling to that, it will be a reason for their success in this world as well as in the hereafter. Allah Ta'ala says in His book, وَنَزَّلْنَا عَلَيْكَ الْكِتَابَ تِبْيَانًا لِكُلِّ شَيْءٍ وَهُدًى وَرَحْمَةً وَبُشْرَى لِلْمُسْلِمِينَ. That we have sent down, meaning this book, and this revelation, of course, clarifying everything. Meaning Allah Ta'ala did not just create us without any instructions on how to live. Allah created us, brought us into this existence. Then He gave us clear guidance to hold on to those instructions of clearly how to live. Notice in the ayahs it goes on to say, clarifying everything. And it'll also be a source of guidance, a guidance of the heart, and a guidance of the way of how to live, and a mercy and glad tidings for those who have truly submitted. Meaning those who stay steadfast and firm upon these instructions, not deviating away from it a blink of an eye. Holding on to it, what will come as a result of it? They will attain guidance, meaning happiness in this world, and the ultimate happiness, which is the eternal happiness of the hereafter. And they will receive mercy from their Lord, and giving glad tidings to those who remain firm during trying times, during very extremely difficult times. That if you stay firm upon that, Allah has prepared a tremendous reward for those who stay firm upon what is clear and upon what's correct and upon that righteousness and that uprightness. If they stay clear and steadfast upon that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also gave glad tidings for those who will now receive that reward in the hereafter. And they will receive this world, the reward in this world, by their heart being properly guided to know what's the reason of their creation. Why are they here? However, they have to now actualize the last part of the ayah where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, for the Muslimin, for those who have truly submitted. That's the prerequisite and that's the condition. Listen to what it goes on to say, brothers and sisters, and this is just an admonishment for all of us. No doubt we need instructions. In these trying times, in these difficult times that everyone is feeling it. Everyone is feeling it. Please stop texting on your phone. During Jumuah, turn the phone off. Leave it alone. If we don't have no respect for one another, at least have respect for your Lord in his house and in the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. So what we're saying, ya ma'ashal ikhwa, this is a lonely world we live in. People don't care about one another. People are very harsh to the point where human beings do so many inhumane things to people that it's really kind of very, very scared to how certain human beings conduct without any mercy whatsoever. It's very, very scary. However, what's the solutions? That's what we want to speak about. We acknowledge the problems. On YouTube and all the different methods, they acknowledge the issues, but they're not giving any proper solutions. They say this is going on, this is going on, this murder is going on, drugs here, all these different types of violence and crime and all types of corruption. But what's the problem? What's the issue? Get to the root of it so it can stop. Oh, black man has been oppressed. This is oppressive mentality we adopted from slavery of the times of old. Okay, we know that. What's the solution to stop it? What's the solution to stop the cycle? Break it. Give answers to people individually so they can apply it in their homes and upon their families and upon the children to break the cycle. Don't just mention a bunch of chaos and problems and just leave everybody like, what we going to do? Allah Ta'ala has sent down in His revelation what we're supposed to do. Clearly, the problem is people don't want to adhere to it. People have been resorting to other options and other alternatives, and in return, Allah humiliates them. From the politics, from the politicians, to the music, which none of it works. Philadelphia has one of the largest Muslim population in the country. And this is a question to all of us, and I hope everyone listening online and the whole world listens. Because this is concerning us globally. It's not just Philadelphia, it's global. It's global catastrophes everywhere on all levels now. Everywhere. Allah Ta'ala, on us, each of us, in regards to the Muslim, Philadelphia has one of the largest populations in the country. How is it that we do not have sufficient social services in every area that needs to belong to the people, the Sunnah and the Salafis? Sufficient social services in the area. We have lost our sense of community and public responsibility. Because if the Salafis don't do it, who are we going to rely on? The non-Muslims? You've seen what the fruits of their labor. The Muslims are indeed one body upon the correct creed, upon the correct belief and methodology. If they actualize what Allah Himself has said in His book, where they unified upon one belief, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala will grant us victory in every time and every place. When you deviate and now want to gather numbers, leaving off the quality of the people, but they just want quantity, that's when Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is angry with this type of innovated unification. The innovated unification has gotten us nowhere. It has increased in Allah's anger upon us. Why? Because we didn't fulfill the conditions of unifying and purifying our creed, which is a unification that makes Allah angry. Not a legislated unification, which is correct, which is unification of the hearts within one belief. That's what we're not willing to compromise. Because those compromises, you see that it's gotten us nowhere. For will you say the hadith of Prophet ﷺ, if we was to now purify the creed, be unified in that affair, what will come as a result of it? مَثَلُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ فِي تَوَادِّهِمْ وَتَعَاطُفِهِمْ وَتَرَاحُمِهِمْ, which comes in Bukhari and Muslim, the example of the believers and their love for one another. If they unite in the creed, and their sympathy for one another, and their mercy for one another, is like the example of one body. To the end of the narration that all of us know. Each of us, brothers and sisters, has a value and a great worth. We play a huge role in what we can have, and what we do not have, or what we don't have, by the permission of Allah. No doubt things that have transpired has caused division in our communities. And the biggest of all of those is being divided in creed. And even though, and we're not talking about the people who are outside the circle of the people of Sunnah, we're not talking about them, that's clear. We're talking about those who are in the circle of Ahl Sunnah. We're talking about the Salafis. People need to rid themselves of personal beef. Why, brothers and sisters? Because it's all hands on deck now. Everyone has to play a part. And I don't care if you're in America or if you're in Saudi Arabia, everyone's being tested now. Wherever you settle, try to roll up your sleeves and figure out what I can play a part in. To try to aid Allah's religion and its people. What I can do. It's not about an area, it's not about a nationality anymore. Allah's making his signs to say all of you either pull together or all of you will be destroyed. No matter where you come from. And no matter which street you're from. No matter if you're from 5th Street, 7th Street, from the wars that's been going on. I know about the history. I used to live around there on 3rd Street. I know about the wars, the 5th and 7th Street wars of South Philly. The wars that if you die upon that could be your dwelling place in the hellfire forever. Because it's a fight of jahiliyyah. It's unacceptable. We're talking about all the affairs that's going on globally. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is making his signs clear everywhere now. Either unite upon one creed. Y'all get rid of these petty beefs and this childish behavior. Be an example for these children, or all of you will be destroyed. And your future generation is going to suffer the most. All hands on deck now, everyone. All hands on deck. Everyone, young, old, whoever it is, wherever your talent, your strength is, you have to roll up your sleeves. I don't want to hear no more nonsense and petty beefs. Get over it. Look at the bigger picture. If the person is upon the aqidah you're upon, overlook it. Know how to deal with it. There's no more excuses now. The affairs are urgent and the affairs are critical. All of us can agree that that all of us has hurt certain people from amongst ourselves. Some of us could say that we're responsible for hurting another Muslim, another Salafi fellow Muslim. Some of us could say that another Muslim has hurt us. But we know, we agree that Allah is greater than all the chaos and discord. No doubt, division has weakened us everywhere. We can all agree that all of us together, collectively, all of us can agree we're all frustrated. All of us are anxious. All of us are weary. All of us are tired. All of us are overwhelmed. And some of us have become numb to all the killing and the violence that's been happening. And quite honest, it seems like we're all playing more funeral prayers than normal, right, everyone? Everyone can vouch for that. Brothers and sisters, the time now has come together to support our own. When I mean our own, meaning the Salafis. We need solid religious facilities, day schools, education for our children, quality health care, mental health, because a lot of our brothers and sisters have a lot of mental issues. A lot. Mental health and trauma intervention and grief therapy, health and wellness, drug and alcohol awareness, safe places for our teenagers, and the list goes on and on and on. And I say clearly, no matter who it is, we are not willing to compromise or sell out on any affair of the foundations of the religion. When you compromise, brothers and sisters, realize when you compromise Allah's religion, it's as if you're saying, I'm willing to do something that will cause Allah's anger to descend upon me in order to get something worldly. You really want to take it that far? Even though you're not saying it frankly. But that's what compromise means. Meaning, oh Allah, I'm willing to do something that you made an obligation. to abandon it, leave off, and you be angry with me so I can get what we need to so-called get from your enemies. And those are the affairs that has made the state of this critical state that we see now. This is what's going on. We're not willing to compromise at all. Compromise also has caused us to be in a state of disgrace. All of us sees it all over the world. For what we say, ya ma'ashal ikhwa, we need all of these affairs. It needs to be in our hands. The safe places for our teenager, the list goes on and on and on, which is also an incentive for us that we need all hands on deck. We're not compromising whatsoever anything in the religion. The money is right here in our community. Investing in the Muslims is the best investment for our future. Future, not just worldly, not for our future generation that's coming, but our inevitable future and inevitable abode, which is death. Because we all are doing this. No one is sacrificing. I hope that no one is not sacrificing, putting forth that extra time and that extra effort, except that they're trying to do it to rectify the community, the society as a whole, and also have a life and a spacious grave and eternal bliss in the hereafter, which is paradise. That's the only reason why any of us probably are here in America. We're only here to try to save who we can save. And do it for Allah. And hope that Allah gives us a great reward for our sacrifice. And if it wasn't for the reward of Allah, and if it wasn't for the dawah and the knowledge and the sacrifice to spread Allah's religion and save these children, I don't think any of us would want to be here. People would have been gone. This place is crazy. These people are crazy here. The money is right here in our community. Investing in the Muslims is the best investment for our future, for our children, and for our future inevitable abode, which is death. That's what we're prepared for. Most will argue that they're probably just saying, oh, I'm solidifying my family. When in reality, you could die right now. Today, tomorrow, your money and your wealth can protect your children from losing their lives or their Islam. But which one is worse? That's another thing I want everyone to think about. What's more worse, a person dying or a person losing their religion? We have to put that perspective. And wallahi, I said this last week in the khutbah. And may Allah guard my children, guard their lives, and guard all the Muslim children and all of us around the world. If my son was to die right now, and I ask Allah to protect all of my children, if I knew that he died Sunni, Salafi, clearly upon the religion, praying 5 times a day, clearly upon the correct methodology, correct belief, and he died, I could go to sleep at night and live with that. The fact that my son dies and he's not praying, he's not upon the correct methodology, and he's misguiding the people, and he's a source of corruption within the society, that's what brings worry. Those are the affairs that we have to look at. So which one is worse? Brothers and sisters, losing our Islam is worse than death. We have to begin to think like this. This is the application of what we're learning. When you understand, as you comprehend that your wealth on this earth is temporary, and that the only way you truly give longevity is to give to the Muslims and raise your children correctly, so that they know how to pray for you when you die. How many people that they live a certain type of lifestyle when it's on the street, and the type of people that's praying over your people that don't even know how to make wudu properly. The type of people that's praying over you don't pray 5 times a day. Allah knows best if their supplication, your prayer, and their forgiveness for you is being answered. Those are the type of people you want praying over you? When you die in your grave, you want someone blasting music when you're about to be put under the dirt, asked by the angels? And you got women with tights and weaves coming to your funeral, don't know how to recite Surah Al-Fatiha? They don't know a lick other than what? To just cover for a couple of minutes and then take it off and stop praying? You want your homies to pray on you that don't know how to pray either? Those are the type of people you want supplicating and asking for your forgiveness. Ask yourself these questions before you live a certain life, because that's what comes along with it. When you die now, you got people who are probably very sinful coming to your funeral praying over you. Take that in consideration. You want people that's upright, praying 5 times a day, people of Sunnah, people of Tawheed, people that are upright with Allah, that you know, inshallah, that we know more than likely, inshallah, that Allah will accept their dua for you, of Allah forgiving you. To make your grave spacious, because you don't want to be in a grave where a tight space where it starts crushing up your lungs. Because as the narration goes, of the grave being so tight upon the person who's sinful to it presses. It's already tight when you're in that little niche under the dirt. But what about when Allah now makes it more constricted? Who from your guns and your friends are going to help you now? No one. It's just you and the creator of the heavens and the earth now that can save you. Only one can save you. Those is how you have to look at it. So those two affairs, like we said, comprehend that your wealth on this earth is temporary. It's a loan. These are the affairs as for the Muslim, the charity that you gave, it will benefit you in the grave. If you build a masjid in this world, Allah will give you a house in paradise. The Muslim child that you financially supported through Quran school, grow up and teach others what they've learned. You will receive a reward for every ayat they recite, and they pass it on. They teach you also which you have given and facilitated for them. And when they pass on, the reward continues. Reward for all the students, and it goes each and on, and the reward continues until the time ends. As for our houses and cars and pocketbooks and shoes and watches and businesses, to an extent, the end at the ultimately the end is the grave. We have to comprehend the provisions come from Allah. And we tie our camel by now putting forth the reasons and the actions, no doubt, by working and exhausting ourselves, by doing permissible things to survive. But it doesn't stop at our family, brothers and sisters. We have to now take care of the Muslim community. Stop relying on the politicians. Forget the politicians. They're not helping. How many pleas have been made? Please take the guns off the street. Please, rather, they're the ones that's probably playing the part and having the guns on the street in the first place. You're asking the people who put it on there. They've been making pleas for 30 or 40 years. We still keep seeing our youth being shot down. While they discuss it in the committee, probably more than likely there's going to be gunshots tonight on the news. While they're discussing in the stupid committee that they've been waiting now for over 40 years for it to stop. It's without any benefit. Stop relying on politics. Done deal. You know what? The Messenger of Allah, when he came with his dawah, didn't worry about the politicians. He came within the people in the communities where they were hurting. He gave dawah to Allah, they accepted it, and they became the best of people. Because they gained knowledge about their Lord, which is the most vital of all knowledge. He rectified their mindset and how they think in their hearts. Prophet ﷺ didn't even care about the people that was in leadership. He didn't even care. Till 13 years later, where Islam became strong, he had to now, because Islam was becoming strong. There had to be now, people had to be some type of leadership now. But in the first part of the revelation, that wasn't even a thought process. You see that the politicians, forget about it. It's done. The voting and the new presidents, you see Allah keeps make you learn your lesson after another lesson. Stop relying on these non-Muslims to change your situation. Stop it. It's not going to happen. Before I was Muslim, now you still witness young youth getting shot down. The plea for them to stop has been going on for over 40 or 50 years. It hasn't stopped. When do you think it's going to stop? Never. So when more are you going to learn our lesson? Till 500 more of our children get shot down for us to boom, let me wake up. Oh yeah, politics is not working. Oh, you think? So these are the affairs we're speaking about. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wake us up from our heedlessness. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala raise true men that can lead these people. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow our youth to be rightly guided and save them from the different horrific things that are taking place. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Alhamdulillahi wahdahu. Wassalatu wassalamu ala man la nabiyya ba'dahu. Wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa man tamassaka bi sunnatihi ila yawm ad-din. Wa sallama tasliman kathira amma ba'd. Like we said, brothers and sisters, all the deviant sects have failed us. The non-Muslims, you can forget about that. The Nation of Islam have failed. What do you call it? The politicians have failed. The liberalists have failed. Now, if you want to go to the deviant sects, the Ikhwanis have failed. The Sufis failed. All of their dawah or their calls are all fading away. Rather, it's in the most critical state more than ever. Uproars and arguments and bickering. All in chaos. That's what you see. We have to comprehend that the provisions come from Allah. We're putting forth and all of us are exhausting our efforts. Keep in mind, like we said, no doubt, you have to take care of your family. We also, all of us take a part in taking care of our Muslim communities, no matter where they are. And then, if it's not in the hands of the Salafis, then who's going to save it? The Sufis? The Ikhwanis? We've seen the fruits of their dawah. It's going down the drain. Rather, they send their children to the Salafis. They sending their children to our camps because they know what they got up there is falsehood. Because they talk about politics all day. Not rectifying the root of the problem. They know. But their belligerence and arrogance holds them back to saying, you know what? Yeah, we know we're corrupt. We're wrong. Arrogance, belligerence. It's holding them back, but they know that the Salafis, what's in their hands is the truth. They know it. Even the ulama say that in their books. They have met Sufis and people that are upon deviation. And they say, yeah, we know y'all know the truth. But you see the respect, the money we get. So you basically want to call the people to the hellfire just to maintain respect? You want to call the people to the hellfire just to maintain money and respect and worldly status? Yeah, what can we do? I don't want to be poor. Or you rather be poor than be responsible for misleading millions of people to the hellfire on the day of resurrection? Some of our brothers and sisters, it doesn't stop at our family. We need to take care of our own. We're supposed to give. We're supposed to give what we need of what we want to now put towards the different programs. There will not be a need for now. If we was to really put in place what we need, that's what I wanted to say. If we wanted to now put in place and we now gather our own, support our own, we want to have to be now taking a sadaqah trash can and going around every Friday begging people for money. Then wouldn't there be need for flyers requesting for our children to help or for requesting help for our children programs if we had everything in its proper place? We have individuals who are putting in work. Some get paid, some don't. But they all share common ground that they want better for the Muslims. We have to want better for ourselves. Don't be fooled by the people, and I'll say it, and I want this clear and pass it on to who you want to pass it on. Don't be fooled by the people who say masjids don't need money. I heard this nonsense. Masjids don't need money. Brothers and sisters, there's always an overhead. Even in a donated building, we can provide comfortable learning environments and positive environments for our children to have fun and grow. And I want to say this again. Poverty is not a requirement to be a Muslim. It's not a requirement. I know in the early years in the 80s and the 90s, the concept was beating in our heads. We shouldn't be lazy, of course. With that concept, that back in the 80s and 90s was beating in our heads. Like you have to be doing bad to be Muslim. Financially, you have to be having your hand out, asking for a handout. We should not be lazy, undereducated, uninspired, not family-oriented, and unhappy. If you're doing the best you can, and that's what Allah has preordained for you as your provisions, that's something else. We're not talking about those people that are working hard and diligently to not be, or to be self-sufficient, but Allah's just tested them with poverty. We're not talking about those people. We're talking about people who adopt the mentality that this is how it's supposed to be. We're not making fun. However, some of us have the misunderstanding and belief that being a good Muslim, or to prove you're not worldly, you need to be in a state of poverty, or at least show it. This mentality has damaged so many. This is not the correct way of thinking. It's been ordered in our Kitab and Sunnah to be self-sufficient. You know the ahadith. Self-sufficient in our businesses and for our children. Stop relying on the non-Muslims. And the people who so-called say, oh, I don't want to be with the kuffar, but you still do. You still rely on them. So if you were on that way of thinking, it's time to move on and grow. Grow up. We're not on that dawah that we have to be doing bad with our handout in the 80s and the 90s anymore. Take that and throw it away. We have to now, we've established some businesses so we can put these children in recreational facilities. How do you think we're going to get the money for that if a person says the masjid don't need money? Because we need to stop relying on the non-Muslims and build it for ourselves. Where the money going to come from? That was the mentality of the damage that's damaged so many people. This is not the correct way. The time now has come to see my children, the children, and the time now is to build ourselves up and our families to be self-sufficient, to spread the truth correctly. The time now is to be a better example to the non-Muslim families, and to rid ourselves of all the dysfunctional behaviors we have adopted from before we were Muslim, and to protect ourselves and to be self-sufficient. That's what we're asking the communities. All of us are stepping up. Nobody's having a masjid where there's just Jumuah, 5 daily prayers, that's it. Everybody's going the extra mile now because we know we are in a state of utmost urgency and emergency at the same time. You can see the accolades for the masjid. Probably the Salafis have the most activity in their masjid every single day, more than the churches now, because they've lost hope in them even on the Sundays. That might be the most of their numbers. We have everything of activities every single day. You see that the people are stepping up to put forth an extra effort. People are rolling up their sleeves. They're frustrated because they're concerned about human beings. Human beings who are dying left and right. And if the Salafis and the people with the proper guidance don't do it, then who else is? We cannot rely on anybody who has deviated from what Allah has sent down, thinking that their dawah, their cause is going to be successful. It's not. So that's why I'm calling on all the brothers and the sisters, telling the brothers we're trying to expand the masjid. Not just to expand and say we got a big masjid, to try to facilitate comfort so the people, the youth and the people can come. We're asking for the benefit of the community. This is the source of beacon for the society, for us, and for creation generally. This, the house of Allah. Every day there's camps. Every day you find on Saturdays, there's families and activities for little children, for little girls. We're doing the most, and we're stepping up more, and we're trying to put more activities in. Everybody knows we're in a state of emergency right now. And that, the more you're in a place where it's more evil and corruption, is the more you have the perfect opportunity to get good deeds for your Lord and prepare for death. Allah has made the windows of opportunity for good so plentiful now. Just all you got to do is roll up your sleeves and get busy. May Allah wa ta'ala aid us, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide our children, and may Allah wa ta'ala save us from the corruption of society, and may Allah return the Muslims back to the haqq, back to the truth, and back to the proper aqidah. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik.